Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's edition of the Sunday Wire. I'm your host, Patrick Henningsen. We're streaming out live on the Alternate Current Radio Network and also at 21stCenturyWire.com. Thank you for joining us for this weekly omnibus news and analysis radio program, again, brought to you here on ACR. We're also streaming out live on X, on Rumble, as well as the podcasting platforms, Facebook Live. We'll also be streaming out on YouTube right now as well. So we'll be bringing in some of the comments from YouTube, Rumble, aggregated from some of these other platforms. We'll be sharing those with you, with our teammates during the Overdrive segment after the break. And but before that, we've got some important things to go through. We've got an important discussion today. You've probably seen the title of this program today. It's unfortunately, we have to deal with this subject at hand, which is the collapse of the MAGA movement. And for those of you who have been following the news, particularly in the U.S., over the last couple of weeks, over the last couple of months, in fact, you'll see there's been various things that have happened, watershed moments, that have signaled the sort of disintegration of the MAGA movement. And you know what's crazy about this is the more things become revealed, as the scales fall from our eyes on this, even Trump's most ardent supporters are becoming to realize that the MAGA movement was a total fraud from the beginning. Okay. Now we can see it. Okay. You couldn't necessarily see it before. It was difficult. But behind this fraud, okay, and behind the Trump administration as a whole is a kind of a fraudulent political construct, okay, and most obviously behind this is the state of Israel and the Israeli lobby. This is a administration that can only be described as slaves to a foreign lobby, and it's past the point. Before it was embarrassing, and then it was shameful. Now it's outright shocking. And it really should shock every American, indeed anyone around the world. This president has no regard for anything by the looks of it. And it's really everybody's worst nightmare realized. Every potentially bad outcome has happened here with regards to the Trump administration. And, you know, we'll talk about it in a moment and go through some of the main things that have happened over the last couple of weeks. And you could see this, and we'll talk about this, but you could see this with the release, or the non-release, if you will, of the Epstein files. You know, is very telling is Donald Trump's reaction. And he made this an issue during his campaign. He says, elect me and we're going to end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, blah, 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 and release the Epstein files and all this other stuff. So, expectedly, he got people excited about his presidency, potentially. And that kind of became one of the main planks in the platform of his campaign. And rightfully so. The corruption under the Biden administration with the Hunter Biden laptop. I mean, this just outraged so many people in the United States. The open corruption under the Biden administration, the fact that Biden was that compromised as a president. And so we thought, well, Trump can't be that compromised in a sense because he's defeated the lawfare attacks. He's defeated the fake Russiagate hoax, the fake impeachment during his first term. So he had seemed to have been baptized by fire and passed through all of Dante's various circles of inferno, concentric tests, if you will. But it turns out that Donald Trump is the most compromised of all the presidents. At first, he tried to use the Epstein scandal to gain popularity. saying that he was going to expose it all and he had nothing to do with it, etc. Then he gets into office. And then suddenly his tune changes. And now it's not only is he not going to expose it, he's claiming it was a Democrat hoax. And not only that, he's got his Israeli operative, Pam Bondi, who's an Israeli lobbyist, who was handpicked by Israel, most likely, to be the head of the Department of Justice, and his corrupt FBI to cover up the whole Epstein scandal, and then to have the gumption to turn to the American people and say that there's nothing there. There are no elite Johns, no lists, nothing. After all that. And at the same time, we're learning that it's confirmed Jeffrey Epstein was an Israeli intelligence operative running a blackmail operation. So something's not adding up here. And then we find out that Trump lied. He said he hardly knew him. And this week we find out from the leaked emails, not only did he know him, they were very, very close friends. Trump spent a lot of time at Epstein's properties, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They've known each other for years. So then the question is, what does Israel have on Donald Trump? I would say quite a lot. I would say quite a lot. And you know, you have to look at the fact that Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, is married to an Israeli operative, Jared Kushner, a close friend of the Netanyahu family, who has appointed himself to be the real estate developer to build shining modern luxury towers on the dead bodies of Palestinians in Gaza. That's Trump's son-in-law, who Trump put in charge of U.S.-Israeli policy, ostensibly, in his first and the second term. Who voted for this? Who voted for this besides Mark Levine and Ben Shapiro? That's a legit question. So we're asking these questions. And that's why the theme of the show, MAGA movement. And this was the first thing that happened during June and July. And then you saw splits begin in the MAGA movement. Then you started seeing Turning Point USA, their leader, Charlie Kirk, catching flack from his base over this issue. So he starts addressing it. And he starts asking questions, trying to take a more objective position. And he gets whacked. And we're meant to think it was a disgruntled person who was living with a trans person. Anyway, the whole Tyler Robinson thing has fallen apart. But it looked like a state actor was involved because that was a professional hit. And there's a cover-up by the Trump government of the Charlie Kirk incident. Where's the body? Where's he buried? How come there was no autopsy? I mean, it just stinks to high heaven. Plus all the anomalies from the footage on the day. It's a joke. Any fool who's going to defend that and say that whatever the official story is, I'm not sure what that is, that's somehow plausible. Are you kidding me? At this point? But anyway, it's indicative. So you have to understand this issue of Israel This cost the Democrats, arguably cost the Democrats the election in 2024. Genocide Joe, that was his nickname. This hurt the Democrats in a lot of key bellwether districts. So when they pushed Joe Biden out the way and they brought in Kamala Harris at the last moment, well, she's married to a hardcore Zionist. Isn't that amazing? Just like in the 2016 election, Hillary Clinton's daughter is married to an Israeli convicted felon, major Zionist luminary and probably donor as well, Mavinsky. Or the father of Chelsea Clinton's husband. So in the 2016 election, you had Trump, whose oldest daughter is married to Kushner, a Netanyahu operative, running against Hillary Clinton, whose daughter Chelsea is married to a major Zionist figure, son of a major Zionist figure. And then the 2020 election, you have Joe Biden, the largest recipient of Israeli IPAC lobby money ever in U.S. political history, more or less gets installed, if you will, as president, running against Donald Trump, who's already in the pocket of Israel. And then 2024, same thing. Either way, Israel wins. Either way. And we'll get into some of this. But it's important that people understand the dynamics at play here. At this point, if you still think that the MAGA movement is anything more than a cheap slogan and these stupid red hats made in China, this was a fraud perpetrated on the American people, and now you can see it. This president is swinging golf clubs, or swinging, I should say, with Lindsey Graham while all this is going on. I mean, Trump has done some absolutely repulsive things in the first 10 months of his term. Not least of all, dancing on the graves of hundreds of thousands of dead Palestinians, putting out, social media AI films about sipping martinis with trans belly dancers and Elon Musk on the bodies of dead Palestinians on the beach in Gaza. He's putting that out on the presidential account. I mean, this is the ritual humiliation of the office of the presidency and the United States of America more broadly. And let's take a look at probably the next sordid chapter in this story. Let's bring this up on screen. When we talk about the ritual humiliation of America, look at Donald Trump with the fake, this is his Zoolander blue steel smile. Every official photo of Trump, he puts on this fake smile. It's absolutely just nauseating. And he's doing it again here. And standing next to him, at his right hand, is the former number 2 of ISIS, Mohammed al-Jilani, deputy to Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. And Jilani is the founder of al-Qaeda in Syria. They threw a suit on him. He was wanted by the FBI. He was installed into power in Syria. He wasn't elected. He's masquerading as a president at the moment. And they let this terrorist, who was U.S. had a bounty on his head for $10 million, and they've let him in the White House. And Donald Trump is treating him like a legitimate head of state, with George Washington in the background. You see the statue right behind Jilani. I mean, Jelani's having a laugh right now. So who is Donald Trump? Jolani, the man you see there, is an Israeli operative. Okay. The whole dirty war in Syria was an Israeli operation from the beginning. From the 1990s, this was the plan. It's in Clean Break. It's in Project from New American Century. It's in Rebuilding America's Defenses documents. All those neocon Israeli-driven documents. And this Jolani character, who's now called Al-Sharar, he is a U.S. and Israeli groomed puppet who they tapped in Iraq. They have armed him. They have funded him. They have given him intelligence support in order to achieve regime change in Syria, to eliminate Israel's greatest adversary in the region, which was its neighbor Syria, one of the last Arab national state holdouts that they couldn't buy off. So they demonized Assad, put out propaganda that he was some kind of a butcher, ophthalmologist from Oxford University. and then now they've sanctioned Syria to death, blamed Assad for the economic collapse of the country, when in fact it was Western sanctions that killed Syria and ultimately was Assad's demise, because the country had collapsed economically. And this clown, this terrorist, just waltzed in with not a shot fired a year ago in Damascus. That guy standing next to Zoolander, standing next to President Blue Steel. I mean, two fake constructs, Jolani and Donald Trump. Trump, the fake president, and Jolani, the terrorist, posing as a president. Two fake presidents right there. I mean, this is probably such a low point for the United States, probably the lowest in history. To invite a head chopper into the Oval Office and then gush over him. I don't know what to say. Look at this guy. Just waltzing around, you know. Trump is something else. You know, he really is. He really is. This guy is something special. Not sure what to say. So Trump wasn't done there. So this is a ritual humiliation in the United States. This is really Israel saying to the U.S., you know, we're going to humiliate you. We're going to make you accept a head chopper, fake president of Syria. We're going to make you bring him into the White House, and he's going to hold court in your White House. It's bad enough to send Netanyahu in there. They sent this terrorist in there. And this clown of a president is just sitting there grinning from ear to ear like a Cheshire cat, thinking this is great. So happy. And then this scene here. We'll watch this unfortunate clip. Amazing. So this is Trump. I don't know how to explain this one, but I don't know. He's offering perfume or something to Jolani. It's just, I mean, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is no.
It's shocking.
It's the best fragrance. Come here, man.
I have more here, sir.
Okay. So what we'll do is just take that, Joe, put it in, and then the other one is for your wife. How many wives? You guys, I never know, right? I never know.
أنا أرسلت له هدايا في أثر قديم أول أبجدية صارت في لعبة التاريخ، أول ختم أيضا صار في التاريخ، أول نوتة موسيقية.
I mean, honestly, you've just about seen enough there. You've just about seen enough. Incredible. So what this shows you, ladies and gentlemen, is it's important to understand what you've just witnessed, okay? What you're seeing here is proof that the whole war on terror was a complete lie. It was a total fraud. The whole war on terror from the beginning, from 9/11, was a fraud. This is proof. And if anything, we can thank Donald Trump in all his stupidity and corruption for proving the thing that people like us have been saying now for 20 years. The whole thing is a complete scam. And that goes for 9/11 itself. And on top of that, you need to understand that the entire U.S. footprint in the Middle East, every base in the Persian Gulf, every aircraft carrier loitering in Eastern Med, in the Red Sea, Diego Garcia, Arabian Sea, Djibouti, everything. The proxy war in Yemen, the U.S. occupation of northeastern Syria, all of that. The U.S. bases in Israel, the U.S. Control of Jordanian military and intelligence, along with the British, the U.S. backing of terrorists, moderate rebels, and various and sundry jihadi fighters in Syria for the last 15 years. All of that. The U.S. bases in Kuwait, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE, in Bahrain, in Iraq. All of it is for one reason and one reason only, and that is to defend and protect this little tiny strip of land, this colonial settler project, this genocidal government called Israel. That's the only reason the U.S. is there. And the proof of that was when the U.S. and Israel decided to start a war with Iran, and Iran fought back, fired missiles back into Israel, you saw all of the U.S. systems engaged. Air, ground, everything, sea, everything was mobilized and engaged to defend Israel. That is an envelope of defense that spans the entire region just to protect this little tiny genocidal colonial settler project known as Israel. That's it. That is the sole raison d'etre of the USA in the region. It's not to protect the oil, okay? We're way past the petrodollar at this point. It's 2025. It's all for Israel. So all the billions and hundreds of billions spent, the trillions spent in Iraq, destroying that country in the region for Israel. The tens of billions spent on the dirty war on Syria, all for Israel. All of it. That's what you need to understand. It's not just about U.S. geopolitical dominance, okay? That's a sort of more long-range reality, okay? But specifically, the clustering of assets and the massive spend of resources and money in the region is for the state of Israel, because the tail is wagging the dog. The lobby has grown more powerful with each consecutive year, and has basically the entire U.S. government bought and paid for, the completely controlled and supine mainstream media. And anybody else who might be on the fringe is scared to death to say anything about it or call it out, or being afraid of being called an anti-Semite. It's utterly ridiculous at this point. So just understand that's what the whole Syrian dirty war was about. Why would Israel be happy that Al-Qaeda is running Syria on its border? Unless they themselves installed this clown this Ellie Cohen, redux. This is basically what he is. That guy. So while all this is going on, so the ritual humiliation of the United States and the proof that the war on terror was an absolute joke, then we have this. This is Pam Bondi, who is Israel's pick for Attorney General. Now we know why. Thank you, Mr. President, says Pam Bondi. SDNY, Southern District of New York. Attorney General Jay Clayton is one of the most capable and trusted prosecutors in the country. I've asked him to take the lead. Yes, it sounds great. Now the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax, says Trump. Oh, so the Democrats, so Epstein's just a Democrat hoax now. That's funny. You campaigned on it, Donald. Wow. Just to deflect from the shutdown. I don't think so. So disingenuous. Unbelievable. But he's going to get the FBI to investigate Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and etc. Not going to investigate the banks. You got to be kidding me. And Reid Hoffman's a big supporter of Israel, and so is Larry Summers, and so is Bill Clinton, so you can forget that. Ain't going to happen. It's all hot air. More promises. So while all this is going on, while all this is happening, and the one person who's calling consistently for transparency, democratic transparency vis-a-vis these Epstein files, this blackmail honeypot operation run by Israel against U.S. politicians. Thomas Massie is one of the only people challenging Trump on this, and this is what Trump puts out. This is the President of the United States. Did Thomas Massie, sometimes referred to as Rand Paul Jr., because of the fact that he always votes against the Republican Party, get married already? So Thomas Massie just got remarried because his wife died. And Trump says, boy, that was quick. No wonder the polls have him at less than an 8% chance of winning the election. So Trump is attacking and primarying the one constitutional Republican left in the party. And Israel is spending tens of millions or maybe hundreds of millions to oust Massie from his congressional seat. And Trump is basically making fun of his dead wife and insinuating somehow that there's something wrong. Anyway, have a great life, Thomas. And his wife, his new wife, will soon find out that she's stuck with a loser. This is the President of the United States putting this garbage out. This is the President of the United States who invited an Al-Qaeda head chopper into the White House and spraying perfume on him. I mean, seriously, folks. I mean, you should be angry. Unbelievable. Really incredible. And here's Laura Loomer, okay? Serious question, says Laura Loomer. So this is another sort of street trade piece of, I don't know what to say, but the garbage she puts out. She's a walking horror show, to be quite honest. And Laura Loomer, who somehow is allowed into the Trump administration, who many believe is an Israeli operative, I think, based on what she says and does, I think that's probably true. Serious question and serious answers only. How did Thomas Massie's wife die? Is there a police report? Is there an autopsy? Why is this such a mystery? I'd like to know. I find it to be so bizarre, and I always have. Now, there's a much younger woman in the picture. So she's insinuating that Thomas Massie murdered his wife so he could marry a younger, good-looking wife. That's Laura Loomer, who calls herself a journalist. I mean, amazing. Absolute horror show. So this is what Donald Trump has brought to Washington, is street trade like this, attacking constitutional conservatives, real conservatives. So MAGA is a fraud. It's not conservative. Mark Levine is not conservative. These people are basically failed Trotskyites, all these neocons foaming at the mouth for Israel are all failed Trotskyites, cross-dressing Trotskyites who formed the neocon movement in order to advocate for the interests of Israel. Richard Pearl, Paul Wolfowitz, John Bolton, all of them, Elliot Abrams, all of them. Mark Levine is another one, a talentless, just bloviating, hot air discharge balloon on Fox News that is somehow gifted a program who claims to be a constitutional guy or whatever. It's a joke. Totally unlistenable on the radio because of his high-pitched voice. There are jockeys riding horses that have better baritone voices than Mark Levine. And he basically advocates for Israel, like Ben Shapiro, just Israel first. They don't make any bones about it. And so what is that? What is, look at what Trump campaigned on, and this is what he's become. Lindsey Graham tweets, "What a great day playing golf with the president." So while Trump is primarying and trying to oust any remaining conservatives and anti-war people from Congress like Thomas Massey, he's swinging on the course with Lindsey Graham. It's great. This is the never Trump Lindsey Graham. This is Lindsey Graham that absolutely threw Trump under the bus so many times before. Two warmongers. And as I say above, they need rainbow hats. So that's where we're at, folks. It's right there. That's the MAGA movement right there. Lindsey Graham and this clown in the red hat. The red hat's a joke. If you've got a red hat, burn it. Put paraffin on it and put it out of its misery. Pretty incredible. And the Epstein files. Do you guys remember this scene? I just want to show you this because this was a good one. Remember when they invited all these so-called influencers to the White House and gave them a binder, like the Epstein files or whatever? Yeah. So that's DC Drano, the guy with the beard, claims to be a journalist. These are all Trump operatives and Israeli operatives. That's libs of TikTok in the middle. There's nothing in the binder that wasn't public already. So this is all a big show. The whole thing has been stage managed. The whole thing has been stage managed. Absolute Israeli operatives and internal MAGA sort of Trump operatives. They handpicked like six or seven people, and they put on this show. Pretty amazing. Remember that? That was the big thing. This is funny. And then the former stripper Anna Paulina Luna, very good friends of Benjamin Netanyahu, and they're all playing basically running interference, playing controlled opposition. All these sort of people from Fox, One America News, Newsmax, for sort of fake conservative media. Here they are. There's clearly a cover-up going on at the DOJ level and the FBI level, the Trump administration level. They want the Epstein thing to go away because America, much of America and MAGA finally realized what it actually was, and that Trump was is actually involved in it. So we'll let me see if I have this clip I think it was Steve Bannon's War Room on this. Let me bring this up on screen. Here we go.
The American people as if they're stupid and they can't make the determination for themselves. The way that they need to handle.
Oh, we're not stupid, Anna. We're not stupid, but you are.
The Epstein files is they need to. No one wants to see child pornography. No one wants to see victim information. But there should be information available for the public to decide what they so choose in regards to the investigation. That needs to be publicly out there. They need to roll it out how they did with the JFK files. I don't believe
how they did with the JFK files. Yeah, there are some interesting bits in there, especially regarding that little country in the that little colonial settler state, that little New Jersey on the Med, Israel. Yeah, but that was blacked out in the mainstream media, wasn't it? So they've made her conspiracy king. This is a clip from July. And credit to Steve Bannon. I think he's realized what a fraud a lot of this is by now. But this is from back in July. And that the Israeli lobby and Trump administration used this former stripper, Anna Paulina, I forgot her real name. It's not Luna. She wanted a more Latino sounding name. She has a German last name. Yeah, she changed it. Like so many people do in politics, like the presidents of Israel constantly using stage names. But here we are.
believe this whole notion of, no one's involved. I just don't.
I got to. Here's what I think the special prosecutor.
Dershowitz just came out and said there are people involved.
Yeah,
Dershowitz, who was Epstein's lawyer, says there's people involved, and even he says that it's being suppressed.
So that was Jack Posobiec, and he cuts off Steve Bannon, and then starts basically saying Alan Dershowitz is a credible source. Alan Dershowitz, who was on Epstein's jet multiple times, who himself is implicated. And Jack Posobiec is saying that's a credible source. He's interrupting Bannon. This was back in July. I mean, talk about controlled opposition. This is a joke. The whole thing is a joke. The whole MAGA circus is a joke at this point. And I have to just reiterate this. We'll go to break in a minute. But Pam Bondi is Attorney General because of a Kansas City shuffle scam that the Israeli lobby and the Israeli operatives pulled on Matt Gaetz. They lured him out of his House seat, claiming he was going to be Trump's. This is Trump's transition team, led by Howard Lutnick and Jared Kushner. Take note. Lured him out of a safe House seat. Future Speaker of the House, Matt Gaetz. Most talented Republican politician by a long shot. Most independent by a long shot. Him and Marjorie Taylor Greene, who Trump is also attacking now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, because she's going against the Israeli party line. Lures Matt Gaetz out of his seat during the transition period with a fake promise that he's going to be Attorney General. And then, of course, through the media and through the Israeli smear machine, an old scandal that had already been put to bed. They tried to frame up Matt Gaetz before in some kind of a honeypot scheme with a supposed, interstate sex trafficking with some young gal. That thing was put to rest a couple years ago. Clearly a setup. But it created such a furor that the Trump administration had to withdraw that offer to Gaetz. So he's out of his seat. He's then replaced by one of the most offensive and disgusting characters, Randy Fine, a total Israeli installed pick into that seat in Florida. And who was waiting in the wings? Qatari and Israeli lobbyist Pam Bondi. Handpicked by you-know-who. And now we have a cover-up of the Epstein scandal. I mean, this is all not adding up to a very savory conclusion, is it? A total cover-up. So Trump's then lies to the American public. We found out with the emails that were released this week that Trump was very tight with Epstein. Trump says, I hardly knew the guy. Why is everybody talking about this guy who's his creep? Jeffrey Epstein. Who was he? No, he was one of your best buddies. It's proved. So the president's lying about his relationship with this Israeli agent, Jeffrey Epstein, and he's covering it up. Pam Bondi and Kash Patel are covering it up. And Dan Bongino, the FBI and the DOJ are covering up the biggest scandal ever. They're burying it right in front of people's faces, right in front of the American people's faces. Anybody still clinging to the MAGA myth? At this point, you're still clinging to this? And the replacement brand of America First isn't much better. I'll tell you right now. We could tear that thing to shreds because that's based on a complete ridiculous construct as well. It's just a dumbed down replacement slogan to replace MAGA. Sorry to break it down to you folks, but that's sort of where things are at. You know, I wish it wasn't the case, but it clearly is. Anyway, we're going to take a break right now, connect with our teammates at Alternate Current Radio, Hesher, possibly Ruckus, maybe Basil Valentine. We'll see who joins us on the other side. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. This is the Sunday Wire, episode 569 of this weekly omnibus news and analysis radio program. We'll be back after these brief messages. And no, not messages, probably a few nice tracks. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for giving me the profound honor of addressing this great citadel of democracy for the fourth time.
And thanks for bombs that wreck Gaza one more time. For helping me pin it on Iran, that's the crime. Let me spin you a tale, talk to you in its bedtime.
Our world is in upheaval.
We brand our foes as evil, it's our goal to spell. Labels ready-made, we wield them well. Terrorists, anti-Semites, animals all on sale. Every option laid out, no detail is too frail. Let me share my plan, it's all about me. Survival's the goal, friends, just let me be. Uncle Sam sends dollars, bombs, arms endlessly. Through twisted lenses, he pretends to see clearly. I could quote the Bible, but that's just for show. It's occupation versus civilization, as you know. Accusations by confession, the truth's on a low. Decades of incarceration, yet you clap for the show.
We win, they lose.
I can't breathe anymore, this noose is too tight. Just not as I blame in the dead of the night. We're criminals in truth, but that's our plight. Gentlemen in the headlines, painted in white.
Suddenly, heaven turned into hell.
We raised the homes, gave the order to shell. Bomb schools, mosque, hotels, there's more to tell. Not just that, hospitals fell as well. Thank you, madams and sirs, for funding this hell.
I thank President Biden for his heartfelt support for Israel.
Think this ain't real, it's all colonial play. Joe helps me claim defense in the broad daylight. Good man he is, though his words sway, supporting me, even when his talk's not right. They've killed with rage, Arab women, kids in their prime. Gaza's an open-air cage, living on borrowed time. More deaths on the way, they've sworn the crime. So we pin badges of courage in this bloody rhyme. What God's green earth am I ranting about? I'll take you on a ride, no doubt. But can't lie about genocide, that's out. Humanity's priceless, funds are what it's about. They call it occupation, a regime of hate. A racist dream built on a bloodthirsty state. Causing death, grief and pain at every day. Yet I stand here and you still wait. And what I'm doing, I stand up in the skies, playing the victim, that's my. But ouch, the burning me in effigy skies.
And I want to say thank you, America.
I love you and your hamburgers, that's no bluff. My soldiers loved you as pampers, just enough. No more Octobers, but we had our stuff. And we were the symbol of heroic grace. Not apartheid or racist to any place. Butter wouldn't melt in my mouth, no trace. From north to south, where the embrace face.
They call Israel a colonialist state.
I think I'm kidding, grab the Times, take a read. Ask the White House, they're trying to lead, but they need more training to follow my creed.
That Iran is funding and promoting anti-Israel protests in America. They want to disrupt America.
Think of Iran, my arms go weak, my mouth goes sour. Let's find a new land to devour. Their might threatens our tower, hour by hour. Victory's near, but is it on my side? Defeating the enemies where I can find, but that's not in me. So prayers I need, and tax dollars, so my plans can proceed. We aim to make Gaza unlivable, our Nobel Prize. Then find a new place to colonize. Take the world back from the infidel guys. Make this region a 5-star paradise. Thank you, my lies have reached their demise.
Israel does not seek to resettle Gaza.
My lies have reached their demise. Thank you, my lies.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Sunday Wire. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. We are streaming out live on X, Rumble, YouTube, as well as Facebook Live, BitChute as well, if you're watching us on BitChute Live, and a number of other audio streams as well. And we'll be hopefully adding some more streams to our rotation very soon. Video streams, a couple of new video streams as well. And also at 21stcenturywire.com. Hello to everybody in the chat room. Hello to everybody in the comment threads as well. I want to welcome, just in a moment, welcome some of our colleagues, our teammates at Alternate Current Radio onto the program. We're going to have a discussion about everything that I just talked about, plus more. There's so many things to cover. We're in a little bit of a lull. There's been no, I don't know. There are many crises going on, but there hasn't no serious bombs have been dropped in the last couple of weeks. Not, at least there have been on Gaza, but the United States hasn't dropped any yet. But they're certainly circling Venezuela right now. We might talk about that as well. But let me welcome onto the stage right now a couple of my very good colleagues here. Hesher, host of the Boiler Room at Alternate Current Radio. .com. Hesher, thank you for joining us this week on the Sunday Wire.
Great to be here with you, Patrick. Isn't it amazing to see the shake and bake effect of MAGA? You think back to sort of Donald Trump's beginning, coming down the escalator and all that, and that really did mark the beginning of some very strange changes in our nation. Like you'd see violent protests and things like this getting out of hand and police standing down. And, then that escalated into 2020 where you saw entire police stations shut down so that rabble rousers could, do Antifa style things just in the streets and take over towns. And let's not forget the Chaz and the Chop and all this.
And the whole country locked down for COVID.
Yeah.
And Operation Warp Speed. Yes, Donald Trump has certainly quite a bit on his resume, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So it's been quite the thing to see. To the shake and bake effect, though, when you add the Israel lobby into it in a second term and throw all the current geopolitics on top of it, shake and bake, look what you got. The end of MAGA. That's it. A rancid meat pie that has destroyed the MAGA movement. So great job.
Is there anybody clinging to MAGA at this point? Is there anybody besides Trump wearing the red hat while he was swinging the clubs? I hope that's all he was swinging with Lindsey Graham, but swinging the clubs with Lindsey there. Let me bring Ruckus onto the program as well. Ruckus from Alternate Current Radio Network. Just first and foremost, let me thank both of you for standing in for us the last couple of weeks, guest hosting the Sunday Wire. 2 fantastic programs, amazing feedback. Our listeners felt that we didn't miss a step throughout it all. So thank you guys for doing such a Spartan effort there. Really appreciate it.
Happy to. Thanks for letting us fill the seat while you were out and about, man. We had a great time and really enjoy hanging out with the audience, and happy to cover for you anytime.
So Ruckus, Hesher just kind of put his stall out there lamenting the demise of MAGA, and taking into account everything that I said. Obviously, to our listeners, feel free to fact check me on any of that, but I'm just really going off their tweets and their statements. But what do you think about this, Ruckus? Are you feeling the same thing that we are on this?
Yeah, you know, it's odd to me the way he campaigned, and you know, he really depended heavily with this whole MAGA and Make America Great, and I guess he never technically said America first, but that was kind of implied in the heads of the MAGA folks, and you can't blame them. So there's been just nothing but one disappointment after another, and at the same time, he still gets up there and says everything's great. Promises made, promises delivered, while breaking them right in front of your face. He to me, Patrick, he honestly just acts like a person who knows he's not going to be elected again. I know there's a lot of rumors about this third term thing, but let's get serious. I think he just likes to troll. He likes to troll people. Let's admit it, and that's what that is. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, the leak is already out there. He already has plans. He's not planning on a third term. He's just really trying his hardest to wash his hands of politics so that when he does leave the political stage, he can enter another stage. He's actually going to be teaming up with the other predecessors in his profession, and they are going to start a band. They don't have a name yet, but yeah, so shout out if you guys have a particular name for this band right here. I suggested the Four Skins, but then I thought, you know, under the current news of what happened with Bill Clinton and all that, I didn't think that would be appropriate.
That might not be kosher. It might not be kosher either.
Bill Clinton was missing from that picture, but he's going to be playing some saxophone, laying down some.
Don't tease us like that, Ruckus. Put that picture up again. The people are clamoring for this in the chat.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
take a look at. So yeah, it's thug life, isn't it? It's the thug life.
Yeah. So they, they don't care.
I heard Biden's done well from the rest. He's forming sentences again. There's rumor that he's talking.
I would be too, because I think that was just a lot of that was an act. I think it was a patsy move on his part, self-patsy move. He was like, well, they can't blame me for too much if I just play dumb and stupid, right?
Yeah, the old Magoo trick. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So that's a good, nice image there. Is that one of your specialties?
That one was not mine. That's a shout out to, I believe it was Jason Bassler who posted that on X. Yeah,
that's
Jason
quality.
Bassler.
Definitely DM that to me. DM that to me on X. I will share that. That's definitely worth sharing. But you guys, this is like where we're at the moment. So, do you know how many times Lindsey Graham threw Trump under the bus?
Yeah. Like a million? A million, at least a million. It's bad. It's bad. This makes me feel like I live in a computer simulation or a joke or a giant Truman Show of ritual humiliation, like seeing that picture right there. And not to mention the other one you showed of him and Jelani.
Yeah. So the Jelani one, I mean, what do you guys think about that? You obviously you guys have seen the whole Syrian story from the beginning. You know the whole thing. Do you feel a bit like alone in the world? It's almost like there's so few people that care or really understand what happened in Syria throughout the last 15 years, and are equally clueless about who Jelani is, and maybe not even shocked to see him knocking around our White House. And I really feel like I need to say that at this point. It's our White House, not Trump's. And I don't accept having a head chopping terrorist in our White House. That's my personal feeling. Obviously, the MAGA doesn't share that with me. What are your guys' thoughts? Hesher and Ruckus, go ahead.
Well, on a personal experience level, just working with you on the topic of Syria for the last 12 years or whatever, I'm offended. I'm completely offended by it. Just knowing what's gone down there, knowing the weight and gravity of all of the propaganda that people that did have even a passing interest in Syria over the last decade or more, since 2014 at least. So it's like, it's just a huge slap in the face to everybody that really worked hard on this, and everybody that suffered from the geopolitical events in Syria, the war, the occupation by head choppers like this guy right here. That's all completely horrifying. And then on top of that, I think about his connection to Al Qaeda and how many of my friends and family members that are veterans have suffered from those wars in the Middle East, and that was supposed to be the main group that they were fighting, right? Like we literally have people that aren't here in this country anymore, people that were wearing uniforms that are gone because of that group of people. And we have people that are suffering from PTSD. We have amputees. We have, homeless veterans. We have people whose lives have been completely wrecked by, the name of fighting that terrorist group via our country and our NATO allies. So I think about all those people whose lives were lost or ruined or degraded over this. And I think about the reasons they were told they were going there and doing those things. And now here's this a-hole. Caught myself there. You can still tip the swear jar if you want. Here's this a-hole standing there getting sprayed with some sort of eau de toilette by the orange dude. What the F is going on here? It makes me feel like I'm living in purgatory or some sort of place that's not real.
And you guys, I mean, I'm just pointing this out. Whenever Donald Trump has a canned photo op, he does this fake smile. You've seen it before. This is his Zoolander blue steel, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, it's a thing, isn't it? Look, because Trump doesn't look like that. Like how you see his face there, that's not how he looks. He's got this tired, droopy look. That's his normal look. But he's managed he does this brilliant still photo thing. Whenever the camera clicks, he immediately goes into that blue steel. But it's fake. And we've got two fake presidents here, as far as I'm concerned. That might be controversial to some people, but the stuff, I mean, what do you think of what he said about Thomas Massey, who lost his wife recently? For a president to put that out on an official account, basically, it's like sticking the boot in somebody that lost their wife. He's remarried. And then Laura Loomer is accusing him of murdering his wife, Massey.
Wow.
While the Israeli lobby is spending tens, maybe hundreds of millions to unseat a House member because he's going against Trump. I mean, the last real conservative, the last one. I mean, this is really low. How can anyone support Trump that calls themselves a conservative at this point?
You'll notice he had to go to the ad hominem attack because he's got nothing, right? I mean, it's just so in your face. It's so much of this is just so shocking, but that one in particular is pretty disgusting. And I hope people recognize that. They would be like, well, hold on. Granted, we don't want no rhinos mess. Yeah, we want to get rid of you. I mean, my dude, you can't be saying that about the dude's wife, bro. I mean, come on, what the heck? And then, and that last part too, and then loser in all caps. Again, this is these people, you can say whatever you want, you can do whatever you want. It's America, but this is the president of the United States. Please find me a moment in recent history where any president in any public announcement, because that's what these are, even though this is Truth Social or X, this is the public square, this is where we get our news from. They make official announcements here. Sometimes Pete Hegseth makes official announcements and whatnot there, the White House. They don't do it the old-fashioned way. So there's supposed to be some sort of like modicum going on here, some sort of like, recently I was watching a clip, it was probably on Weaponized News or someplace like that, where The dude was just the representative from the United States at the UN was being just absolute D-bag and making accusations about Cuba. And so Cuba had to interrupt and was like, well, hold on a second, and this is disgusting behavior. This will not stand here. We have rules and procedures, and you're supposed to be polite and all these things. But it was just like, America don't care. We've just shed all of that. We ripped the mask right off, and we're just a bunch of disgusting oafs on the world stage right now. And it's embarrassing, I guess is the word, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, he's put out some really bad stuff on the official presidential channels, and it really demeans the office to a really unbelievable degree. I mean, it sullied the office. I mean, and this is coming on the heels of a Joe Biden presidency, which was really bad. It was the Biden presidency was a humiliation of America on so many different levels, and the office of the presidency as well. But Trump, you'd think he'd come in and want to kind of repair that, somehow correct it. But he's taking it to even really disgusting levels. And it's disturbing. Joe Biden, I always say he had the excuse that he was senile, basically. Or he appeared to be suffering from early onset dementia. Latent onset dementia in some cases. But Trump doesn't have that excuse. He's fairly compos mentis. He seems to know what he's doing. Maybe he doesn't, but he does appear to be compos mentis. So how could he be putting up stuff like this? I mean, it's malicious, and it says a lot about your low character. But why would you, if you're the president of the United States, why would you need to engage in this type of speech? If you're in charge, if you're supposedly the most powerful man in the world, and what does this lead us to believe, my friends here, is that he's not in charge of anything, or that he himself is incredibly weak. And that brings us back to the main issue, which is this. How compromised is this president? That's a fair question, right? What do you guys think? Based on what we've seen. You've seen the emails released this week that Epstein's definitely an Israeli intelligence operative, definitely running a honeypot blackmail op, definitely very close to Donald Trump. So, and Trump is covering it up as we speak. He's running a cover-up. So he's denying, he's lying, and he's covering it up. That's the president of the United States. Guys, it doesn't look good. Anyone?
No, it's
out.
not good. I mean, are we even allowed to have a president that's not 100% compromised? I mean, is there even such a thing anymore? Have we had that since mid 60s, maybe at best? And
I think Carter. Listen, credit where credit's due. Jimmy Carter was probably pretty clean.
All right,
he wasn't very popular as a result, and probably Gerald Ford too. Came in on the back of the Nixon resignation.
Well,
Reagan, I don't know.
I think maybe sometimes when it's so bad, like such crazy things happen, like you got to throw in like just you got to throw in a Carter or Ford or something like that afterward, because they're still just managing the fallout of all the trash that they created in the previous two administrations, and probably leaning into planning the next trash festival for the presidency after that. But I think at this point, we move a lot faster because we're able to psyop people by the second with cell phones instead of, on the Sunday paper. When you're psyoping people with the Sunday paper and the evening news, you can only get such you can't get that terminal velocity of psyoping like we're experiencing right now. So I don't know if we're going to have an excuse to have any middle of the road type of, milquetoast presidents anymore. They're all going to be bombastic.
So Bill Clinton, we had a trafficking cocaine through Mena, Arkansas, Barry Seal, coke for weapons, the Contras, plus all the sex scandals, baby mamas galore, everything. So that was Clinton. Then when he got in, even more so, turns out he is Epsteined. He's Lewinsky'd. Okay, fine. Then we get George Bush Jr. Compromised or just a complete tool. Either way, we got
the
the
legacy
Iraq
of compromised dads and grandfathers there, right? Involved in all kind of crazy stuff.
Yep, dad was the head of the CIA. So I don't. Maybe in a certain way, W was less compromised, but who knows? He was a male cheerleader at Yale. I heard, so that has implications, of course. But we'll leave that off to the side. He gave us 9/11 in Iraq. Okay, so then we get Obama, hugely compromised. I don't even know where to begin. But and then we come to Trump, and we thought that we had a people's president. We thought we had a populist, but very soon he became an asset of a foreign government. And at the same time, he was being accused of being an asset of the Russian government. But that was such great cover from the real story. And now we see the real story. And that's the thing. This has been such a big reveal. And we're just a year in to this presidency. I don't know. I don't think he'll be able to withstand what's coming for him in the next 3 years. And it's a huge revolt. I think a lot of people are disgusted by what Israel is doing, both in Gaza and to U.S. politics. Real Americans, I think, are deeply disturbed about it. And you're starting to get some indication of that. That's expressed through people like Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, and others that I think have their finger on the pulse of what a lot of Americans are thinking and feeling. And so they're expressing those views, and they're rejecting the Ben Shapiros of the world, who carpet bagged into the conservative movement, but were really just kind of second-rate Trotskyites, themselves liberals, but totally Zionists who only cared about one thing, and that's Israel. But yet, Velcroed, superglued themselves to Trump to ride that wave. But the minute Trump would go against Israel, these all people would turn on him just like this. You could totally see that. So right now, it's critical, isn't it? I mean, this is the Charlie Kirk thing. Really, kind of that you could see. Everyone who can see the real story there, how it unfolded, what it meant. It's what did the Charlie Kirk story mean? I think it's pretty clear what it meant. And they tried to make it about trans and all this other garbage. I don't think so. I'm sorry.
You know what I think? I have a wild theory, guys. Unpopular opinion. In fact, it's one I've not heard yet. But Trump gave me the idea because he keeps repeating the fact that this is a Democrat hoax. And my history has been that, especially when it comes to politicians, they love to accuse the other side of doing what they're doing. So hear me out. There is a lot of talk and pressure and things just flying all over the place, just getting way out of control with the issue at hand, the Israel thing, the fallout with the Kirk, all of the things. It's just so much like they need to do something in a hurry. They're willing to throw Trump under the bus, throw out some salacious material. I think that this recent release of Epstein files is, for the most part, fake. I mean, they're throwing in everything. I mean, come on. Blue Bubba. I mean, they're so desperate. This is just a theory of mine, okay? I'm just saying. Now, and on top of that, think of it this way. I mean, there was not much in this files that would be damning to Israel. There's a little bit of a conspiracy candy stuff, not much. There's a lot more of this weird, salacious Trump stuff, which is just
that claim about, I saw that thing knocking around that Donald Trump drained Bill Clinton's swamp. Is that a validated email, or was that just one? Because there's a lot of fake emails circulating on X.
It was part of the dump. It was in the dump. It was in there. Yeah. So the only thing that you have to be like is are they really talking about Bubba? What were they referring to? whatever. But people went wild with it, and MAGA's doing a hard cope with that one right now. The memes are out there, obviously. But then the other weird thing that they just threw in there, a little like, what is this? They threw in this weird thing about Bitcoin. I don't know if you saw that, where they were suggesting that Jeffrey Epstein was an early investor through MIT. Basically, they're literally trying, headline level, want people to think that Jeff Epstein created Bitcoin or was part of some way involved with that. And I'm like, where is this coming from? It's just so out there. But that was also part of the actual alleged emails that were mysteriously released at a very convenient time to keep everybody talking about this instead of that, is all I'm pointing out.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, it's hard. There's so much stuff's been injected into this that's going to create, distractions in a certain way, and kind of flooding. That's the problem with a mass release of anything, is it sort of floods the conversation, especially at a time like this when people need to focus on specific things. And to me, the issue is Israel and the United States' role as a kind of servant of Israel in many different ways, or their level of control over the U.S. government and this presidency. That to me is the issue. That's the number one issue. Both parties, Democrat and Republican, because there's no pushback against half this stuff. Trump's getting such a free ride on all of this, and it's because the Democrats are equally supine and bought off on this for the most part. There are a few, free agents, Senator Van Holden, and there's a couple of others, but for the most part, it's MGT, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massey, maybe one or two others, a couple of Democrats, and that's it. Our government is bought and paid for. It's pretty shocking, considering the horror of all of this, and no pushback at all. So I think what's going to happen is, and you guys can tell me if you agree or not, but midterms, I think there's a good chance the Democrats could retake the House in the midterms, and there's going to be impeachment of Trump at that point. It's unavoidable. But the thing is, they actually have grounds for impeachment this time, unlike last time. Last time there were fake impeachments, and I think the J6 thing, largely staged by the FBI and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats, that was a sort of staged event, if you will. But the fact that Trump is running foreign policy through tariffs outside of Congress and is having horrible effect on the U.S. economy as a result, massive contractions, that's grounds for impeachment. The Argentinian bailout thing is a crazy story. This bailing out Milei, there's that. The Venezuelan thing, grounds for impeachment. I don't even know where to begin there, but it's basically an emporium of potential illegalities. Then you have the Epstein cover-up. That probably is not going to see the light of day because Democrats are implicated as well. And posse comitatus. I mean, that would be a legitimate constitutional ground for impeachment, is overuse of the U.S. military on domestic shores. And there's so many other things I could throw in there. Legitimate or violations against the First Amendment by the Trump administration against people protesting the genocide as well. Impeach Marco Rubio for starters. I mean, that would be a good place to start. But he's an Israeli pick. So I know that's how I would lay this out, guys. Yeah. But anything that I just said does it have any chance of actually happening? But there will be an impeachment, but will be a bullshit impeachment. Yeah. Over something else. What do you think?
It'll be over immigration stuff. The Democrats they have no vested interest in the First Amendment or geopolitical maneuvering or what the military is doing or what AIPAC has people doing. Like, they don't care about any of that because they're doing the same stuff. But they will come after him if they were able to take the House. So someone said never underestimate the Democrats' ability to throw an election. So there is always that. We acknowledge that. you know, maybe 2 terms of GOP will be what it takes to get to, you know, the next big maneuvering. But I don't know. I tend to think that it's going to swing back and forth pretty rapidly as we move forward in 2 and 4 year cycles from here on out. But yeah, there's a chance for that for sure. You know, also we mentioned on Boiler Room this week that Catherine Austin Fitz is out talking a lot about some of these topics right now, and she's mentioned something that we've brought up here on this show and on Boiler Room, which is, what if Donald Trump only has like a 12-month shelf life, and what we're really seeing here is just sort of the entryway to the foot in the door of JD Vance. Something happened with Donald Trump, whatever that be it impeachment, be it, you know, early demise or something else, you know, that takes him out. JD Vance gets in, you know, so there's sort of this whole what if-ism that's going on right now. Like, if Donald Trump doesn't even make it through these next 3 years, right? Like, what does that look like? And you know, and she also spoke about how, you know, if she was grading Donald Trump on his success level at bringing authoritarian technocracy to the United States, she would give him an A+++, because he has done so much. You know, in the 2 terms, to include, you know, back in COVID when he started, you know, changing vacuum companies into companies that were forced to make ventilators, and, you know, putting up all these 5G towers and all this other stuff, all this infrastructure type of thing. So, you know, she's asking the questions that I think a lot of us have been asking, and, you know, maybe this term will actually not be 4 whole years of Donald Trump. And then what do we got?
What if he quits? Yeah. Can a sitting president just say, I give up? Can they just quit midterm?
It doesn't normally happen. Resign, like say I quit. Resign under pressure of a scandal, yes, maybe, for the better of the party, of the government, but just quit because I'm not feeling it. I just want to go play some golf with my buddy Lindsey Graham.
Be funny.
You know,
but when does the system break? That's my question. I really thought it was at that point last time around with the advent of RFK Jr. Oh my God, what happened to that guy? I swear they kidnapped the real RFK Jr. and replaced him with a clone. It's not the same person. It's crazy. Anyways, but yeah, I thought, oh, third party, this is it. Everybody's sick of the Democrats. Everybody's sick of the Republicans. I think this time around might be the time. I mean, the feeling is right to me. I mean, from what I'm observing, I mean, who can vote for any of these parties anymore after the last 2 administrations, after everything we've witnessed under both administrations from both the parties? I mean, who is going to put up with this again? Seriously, honestly. I mean, and then I shudder to think who they're going to run. I mean, if they could just come out and just have the most ridiculous clown candidates, like I suspect they're going to pick the most horrible people on both sides, where like nobody wants to vote for these people. I really think we're ready for like a third party, or hey, why not AI governance? Maybe we'll see that happen sooner than later.
Buck Rogers in the 25th century, Dr. Theopolis. The Supreme Council, those little AI computers around the neck of, that's it. Yeah, because the humans were just making too many mistakes. So you know, they had to devolve to the machine. Although I thought Dr. Theopolis was pretty cool. I wouldn't mind him as being an AI government head. I mean, that's about it. So some CIA dude said, if you don't know what's real, we did our job right. You're talking about the alleged quote from William Casey, former director of I don't think he actually said that, but it's been memmed so heavily for the last 15 years. I could not trace the actual quote though. That's the thing. So I think that was an early internet one that made it into the net like early 2000s, before like memes were officialized.
Yeah.
And
the unofficial quote is, we'll know our disinformation campaign is complete when everything the public believes is a lie, if I'm not mistaken.
That's it. There you go.
And it's a hearsay thing too, if I recall. When we did try to track it down, it was like, well, he said it, and it was said at, you know, this, we think it was said at this speech, but you know, it wasn't recorded.
So what do you guys think of Laura Loomer accusing Thomas Massie of murdering his wife? I mean, she is just a very unsavory. I'll be conciliatory. Okay. She's an unsavory person. Her comments here, Jill saying Laura Loomer's an Israeli operative bankrolled to feed Trump, farcical Venezuelan intelligence spewed to her by a former CIA agent who's an Israeli citizen. It could be. I mean, just on and on it goes. On and on. The fact that she has access to the White House, does that bother you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, she bothers me in general. I don't think she's a I don't think she's a good operator. I don't think she belongs in government. You know, and you were mentioning Capitol Hill. I was thinking about that. There's 535 elected representatives in the House and the Senate on Capitol Hill. And if the numbers we're seeing are correct, there's maybe 10 of them that don't take APAC money. So, when you think about this whole right versus left thing, you think about the representation that we're supposed to have in this country. And then you look at Capitol Hill and you say, oh my gosh, there's only 10 out of 535 that aren't taking money from a foreign country. And, this should bring a lot of things just into a level of clarity. Like if you just zoom out and look at that fact right there, it's a little depressing. I'm sorry. It's a bit of a black pill. It kind of makes you think, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Then maybe it doesn't.
Laura Loomer can go to she can or Laura can go to Capitol Hill, but I think the debate is which bathroom she should be using. But anyways, that's
Larry
just me.
Loomer. You're talking about Larry Loomer. Yeah, I mean, I've seen that's a pretty compelling one there. It's more compelling than Michelle Obama being a man. I can tell you that right now. But
I agree.
That much I can tell you. I like this comment here. It might be entertaining watching Alex cope. Yeah, Alex is probably struggling with all of this. What do you guys think?
Alex, you never see him sweat, right? You don't see him sweat. He just goes, man. He just he just opens that vocal box and sounds come out, and the people that watch it every day are like, yeah, I feel like that, even if what he's saying doesn't make sense.
There's all sorts of salacious stuff going on in our comments right now. I won't post all of it, but you guys can see it.
Some of you guys are ruffians.
I'll flash this one up, but only for a few seconds. There you go. And let me see what else. This is interesting here. Yeah, it would be discouraging if they ever put Epstein's visage on a Bitcoin. Yeah, that whole thing about the Epstein Bitcoin. So he's Satoshi. Epstein is Satoshi. That's the implication. And yes, Alex is still coping. I love the PFP here on Silly B 9786. That's so cool. Looks like a type of a penguin of sorts, some kind of a bird holding a Slurpee or an icy. That's so cool.
I think the official headline level of that report is that the emails revealed Epstein's money financed the development of Bitcoin's core. Quoting here, used gift funds to underwrite this, which allowed us to move quickly and win this round. Thanks, end quote. That's according to former MIT Media Labs director Joichi Ito, who wrote Epstein in an email titled Digital Currency Initiative. So they ran with that, suggesting that Epstein had something to do with helping create Bitcoin. So there you go.
That's it. There you go. Nick Riviere, Dr. Nick Riviere is pushing this one. Epstein is Satoshi. Satoshi is Epstein. So, yep, clearly. Yep. Speaking of agents, this allegation, Adam is obviously an agent. Why is he allowed in here?
Because Russia pays me to be here. I thought you understood this.
If there was ever an obvious agent, it's just got to be Adam Clark. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, if there ever was an obvious,
I swear operative, I'm former CIA. It's always former. Okay,
he's former CIA, former KGB, former Mossad. He's worked for more people than who's that? Who's the Bustamante guy? Who's the CIA?
The guy with the hair,
with the big hair. He's giving away all the CIA secrets.
I love that guy. He's so is he? He's got to be a comedian, right? Bustamante, you're trying to make people laugh, right? Because
You can
it
see
works.
him going on deep cover. You know, it's like, yep, the guy with the big hair. No, maybe he had a shaved head before.
Right.
You know, to be fair, he could be Arab, he could be Latino, so he's probably got a good look for an operative in that sense. But anyway, there's a bunch of these guys, ex-CIA guys, giving away trade secrets on who's the other guy? The other guy, I forgot his name, Chaz something or other, and he runs courses.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. He's pretty smart, and I like some of his stuff actually, but it's all a bit weird. I wonder if there's like a reverse psyop going on here.
Yes.
Kirk became a liability of the Israelis. Hannibal directive. So Charlie Kirk got Hannibaled. Right. Putin. What is this? Well, Adam would know. He's a Russian agent. Does Putin have compromat on Trump? Ruckus, is it true or not?
Well, I mean, we have to ask Steve Bannon, right? Because that was in the email. He was asked whether or not Putin had the photos of Trump blowing Bubba. So, you know, we're still trying to get to the bottom of this. The information's coming fast and furious.
We still can't confirm the golden shower in Moscow. We can't
right. Yeah.
Wee Gate. That's right.
Oh. Trump learned how to blackmail people from Cohen, his attorney, the Jewish mafia. Who is it? Michael Cohen? Was it Michael Cohen? Yeah, I think so.
I think it's Michael.
Michael Cohen, yes. Ruckus gets awards. Creative accidents. Yep. So yeah, Ruckus is now rumors that Ruckus is an agent. He's completely compromised here. He can't be trusted. And then master plan, Jared Kushner, they're making billions. Yeah, that's for sure. That's the worst part about this is the nepotism, guys, is that you can't put your son-in-law in charge of something and he's family friends with this indicted war criminal who's the head of this genocidal entity. And I mean, the whole thing is beyond. Most people would not want to be even accused of that level of nepotism and conflicts of interest. But Trump doesn't give a toss. That's the disturbing part about it. Or he doesn't have a choice. Which one is it? Is he just careless or is he completely being steered and run by you-know-who?
This is Roy Cohn is the guy they were talking about.
That's Trump's mentor, Roy Cohn, who was
something about blackmail. Apparently,
he did. Yeah, he was the lawyer for the mafia and for the Israeli gangsters and whatnot, and he was a rambunctious, feral gangster, gay man, ruthless. So, and he was under Trump. Trump was under his wing. I don't know, guys.
Is that the same as in? Is that the same as in his pocket?
Oof, we don't even want to think about this because it's just pretty bad. If those emails have any truth to them, the new ones. So, what do you guys think about my term, the ritual humiliation of the office of the presidency in the U.S.? You think that's accurate? I'm talking about Jelani and all the rest of it.
Yeah, I can't think of better words for it, actually.
How about just a giant mistake, like a fuster cluck, we'll say. How about that?
It's hard to say. I think it's like the office. I'm thinking you have to preserve some integrity of the office. And it's been dirtied so badly here, I mean, especially the last two presidents. I mean, Bill Clinton, that put me off a lot. In fact, that was it for the Democrats, wasn't Lewinsky. And I thought that's definitely not a good look for the office. And again, Israel's involved in that. That's now shown. Netanyahu was blackmailing Clinton with the text messages, then the sexting between Lewinsky and Clinton. So that was a setup. The whole Lewinsky thing was a setup to get Jonathan Pollard released and to get Mark Rich pardoned. He got Mark Rich pardoned, which is the last thing Clinton did before he left office. That was Mark Rich of the MAGA group, who runs with Epstein's benefactor, Victoria's Secret's guy. What's his name? The name's
Wexner.
Leslie Wexner.
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Rich, Les Wexner, etc. So, but didn't get Pollard out until later. That was an Israeli spy working in the U.S. So many of them, by the way. But that's cool. It's okay. We don't mind Israeli spies in the American government. They don't seem to mind. I mean, the FBI used to bust them back in the day.
Speaking of agents, I think another agent just joined us.
Ah, yes, indeed. I see. Basil Valentine, welcome to the program.
Good afternoon, gentlemen, and hello to everyone all around the world.
Great to see you, Basil. So, Basil, what do you make of all this? Is MAGA well and truly dead?
Well, according to Nick Fuentes, it is. It's now America first. He really has turned on Trump, says he's in the toilet, says he hasn't done any of the things he was elected to, you know. Okay, big deal. He closed the borders, but 15 million people had entered illegally. He's boasting about ending wars in Thailand. Nobody cares about that. The situation in the Middle East is, it's nominally some kind of ceasefire. At least 300 Palestinians have been murdered since the beginning of the so-called ceasefire. Imagine, if that was Israelis, imagine if 300 Israelis had been murdered within the borders of so-called Israel since the end of the ceasefire. We'd never hear the end of it, But the cheapening of Palestinian life continues, and the conditions there at the moment are absolutely abysmal. They've had heavy rain, so people's tents are flooded, and it's not like Glastonbury where it's all fun and games and you can always get in the car and go home. People have got nowhere else to go, and the Israelis are continuing to restrict the supply of better shelters and food. The long-term strangulation continues. Now, this was pointed out by, amongst others, Richard Falk, the former special rapporteur to the United Nations on the occupied territories. He was attending a Gaza hearings event. There have been a few of these, actually. There was one in Istanbul a couple of weeks ago as well. Independent tribunals set up to document and catalogue the war crimes, ignored by the corporate media, of course. But Richard Falk was on his way to talk about the fact that the genocide has really only slowed down, hasn't ended at all. But he was detained at Toronto airport and quizzed by Chicago border authorities with his wife for 4 hours on supposedly national security grounds in Canada. So you have a very distinguished diplomat and academic, now aged 96, who is going to speak to a humanitarian conference in Canada about subjects which include Canada's complicity in the war crimes. And he's detained by the Canadian authorities at the airport and quizzed, apparently in a rather random and disorganized way, about his views on the Middle East and things like that. Very, very distinguished diplomat. What that is symptomatic of, and what is continuing, of course, under Trump, is the suppression of all Palestinian solidarity. There's the case of the British journalist who was on a speaking tour. He was, just rushed off to a detention facility. His visa immediately revoked. But that's what you get if you've got the White House crawling with people like Laura Loomer. There was an interesting piece in the week. Candace Owens, let's not forget, she was voted anti-Semite of the year last year. I think that award will probably go to Tucker Carlson this year.
By who?
She was
who runs the award? Oh, it's one of those campaigns against hate or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. But it's one of the particularly idiotic ones, obviously. She was being quizzed by the CNN reporter about her comments that the United States was a Zionist-occupied government. that this was controversial, and she was echoing Nick Fuentes and white nationalist talking points and things like that. And Candace took her down, but all she really needed to say was, well, can you name a single anti-Zionist in the administration, or for that matter, a single anti-Zionist in the Biden administration, or the Obama administration, or the Bush II administration, or any American administration since they blew John Kennedy's head off in public? They all believe in the existence of the state of Israel as the so-called Jewish state. And they believe in its right to defend itself and all this other stuff. So, of course, it's Zionist occupied government. I mean, it's absolutely self-evident to sort of claim that using that term is somehow sort of controversial. It's just, well, it indicates, well, just how sort of dumbed down the American political dialogue is.
Yep. Yeah, Laura Loomer getting a lot of activity in our comments. I guess she's very divisive. That's an understatement, isn't it? Ruckus hits below the belt again, making an accusation. But where are the receipts? What did Ruckus say that was below the belt, Elvis?
I think it was the Laura Loomer comment.
Did you say anything? Oh, you mean the Larry Loomer inference?
The which bathroom comment?
They weren't saying that I was doing anything wrong. They were just pointing to the fact that my comment was aimed below the belt. See?
Ah, yes. Okay. That's right. That's right.
I mean, people like Loomer and her chums, Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro, are just becoming increasingly hysterical about the fact that the American right is waking up to the fact that the country's politics has been hijacked by Zionism and that it's extremely negative consequences for Americans as well as everyone else in the world. And it's a floodgate has opened and they can't hold it back. And people like Loomer are just absolutely doing their nut every day on Twitter. All they've got is to lash out with name calling at the likes of Tucker and Candace Owens. And of course, the bête noire, Nick Fuentes, who's really making some waves these days.
Yep, we've got this comment here, Basil. You'll like this one. Tel Aviv Tommy 10 names. Tel Aviv Tommy 10 names. Is useful Goyim cattle on shekel payroll. He went to Israel recently. He's been going. Did you see his trip to Israel? Tommy 10 names.
Yes, he was pretty much humiliated from what I could tell. He was told who the bosses were, certainly, came back with his tail between his legs. I think his star, so to speak, is very much on the wane, actually. I think people are starting to wake up to the endless falsehoods he's been peddling.
That's right.
Yeah, the free trips to Israel are getting denied these days quite a bit. Even Charlie Kirk was like, nah, I'll pass. A free trip to Israel. There's a funny clip. It's at least a year old now. It's been recirculating of a Asian comedian, Bobby. I forget his last name, but he was on Joe Rogan. And he told the story of him and a number of other comedians getting a free trip to Israel, right? Back in like 2014 or something like that. And, John Kurakow's got great stories about this too. But like enough of these stories are circulating now that people like in mass are realizing, oh, you mean this isn't just a free vacation to a country I've never been to before that I know I'm supposed to love and revere? No, people know it's weird. They know it's a struggle session. Basically, it's like a timeshare struggle session to make sure that political Zionism lives in your head and anyone you speak to's head rent free for the rest of your life.
That's right. Struggle session is the correct term. Definitely the correct term there. But gentlemen, it's a short episode today because we have another engagement we have to get to very shortly, but it's been a colorful episode to say the least. Probably good for our souls to chip out at this while we're on top here, because this could get very ugly if we keep going. But I want to thank, of course, amen, Basil. Good seeing you, says America First PHL there. So a little kudos for Mr. Valentine. And yep, thank you, Chloe. I appreciate it. Gentlemen, final thoughts. Hesher, go ahead. Anything exciting happening this week what you're putting out on the broadcast wires on ACR. Go ahead.
Yep. We did Boiler Room on Friday night, and that's up at the website, alternatecurrentradio.com. We'll be doing another Boiler Room next Friday night. We're trying out a new day. So Fridays is our tentative new day for Boiler Room. If you want to catch it live, you want to show up around 9 p.m. Eastern time. So we got that going on, and what else do we got? I think that's about it. If you want to support us, we got a support link at alternatecurrentradio.com. There's a buy a coffee link for Ruckus on the website. What else? Oh, also, I thought this one was memeing pretty hard this week, and I thought it fit your theme for the show pretty well. The collapse of MAGA, right? Perhaps as illustrated by Stormy Daniels. Now, let's not be mean, everybody. But
don't be mean. Trump has great taste in women, so there we are.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty scary.
Seems to do them well in the long run, I guess, right?
That is positively frightening. Ruckus, go ahead.
Don't do that, Hesher. I literally just now, it's a good thing my microphone was muted. As soon as I came on the air, I went, felt like Beavis and Butthead, of course, I got my roundabout Ruckus stuff going up at the website, alternatecurrentradio.com. So you'll find all the most recent stuff there, including Sunday Wire, Boiler Room, and my recent appearances on Weaponized News. But I would highly encourage folks, the listeners of this program in particular, to check out what Odd Man Out, our friend and colleague Jason Hoge, has been doing. Jason, aka the Odd Man Out, has a 25-part series called Those We Don't Speak Of, and you can just find the vast majority of those by going to any one of the episodes in that series and clicking the button that says more from this series, and you'll find them all there up at alternatecurrentradio.com. It is the deepest dive you will ever find on the subject of Israel, the religious faith of Judaism and how that ties into secret societies, history, geopolitics. It will absolutely blow your mind, and it will place a lot of current events into a certain perspective that will be incredibly useful and informative to you. So again, I encourage folks to check that out. Find that at alternatecurrentradio.com. I am going to be switching my weekly, once a week appearances on Weaponized News to Wednesdays so that we can accommodate Boiler Room on Fridays. So you'll find me hanging out with Sam Chaney at Weaponized News on Wednesday evenings. That's 8 p.m. Central. You'll have to do the math to convert the time. Is it 7 p.m. Central? Sorry, everybody. And then, thanks for having me, Patrick. And it was a pleasure. And thanks for the opportunity to, for me and Hesher to, stand by in your place when you're not available. We're willing to do that anytime as needed. And thanks again.
Yeah, and I haven't. We'll talk later about my experiences there in the Eastern European zone. It was quite interesting. Basil Valentine, again, thank you for coming in during the Overdrive segment. And any final thoughts or words?
Well, thanks, Ruckus, for the heads up. I've got my evening's viewing sorted out. Please remind me of the name of the title of that series.
Those We Don't Speak Of. I'll send you a link.
Funny you should say that, because I've just seen on X a bloke from at a council meeting in New Jersey, I think it's doing the rounds, saying Voltaire, of course, to discover who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. And we all know to whom he was referring. I'm not on air this week, but as the man said, I'll be back.
Yes, indeed. Basil Valentine, Bryan McClain, a.k.a. Hesher, Adam Clark, otherwise known as Ruckus, alleged agent. Now alleged agent in the comment threads. I've seen a lot of things said about Ruckus, mostly good, but never that. That's new. That's new. I mean, gosh.
I enjoy novelty, so thanks. That was a fun one.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, and you guys, again, great discussion. We'll hopefully have a more of an extended session next time. But there's a few other podcasts we're going to be going on to even tonight. So I'm going to be closing the show up early. Thank you again, All the best, guys. It's been great. And special thanks to everybody in the comment threads. Thank you for keeping it real. And good to see everybody. Good to see the activity. We've got hundreds of comments streaming through. We've highlighted a few of those, and we really appreciate the engagement. You guys are amazing, and a lot of great takes. Very, very good hot takes, and very relevant indeed. Thank you for participating. So we have, well, that's all we have time for today, folks. This has been another edition of the Sunday Wire, episode 569 of this weekly omnibus news analysis radio program. I'm Patrick Henningsen, your host. That's all we've got time for again. And we will take you out with the music of our friends, great rock band, Red Rumble. Take care, everybody. All the best. And also support us at 21stcenturywire.com. Winter fundraising drives coming up. Subscribe and become a member at 21wire.tv. If you like what we do, you like this programming, the content right now up on our website is amazing. We got great reports by Freddie Ponton, myself, and others. And it's coming out daily, as are our shorts as well. We're pushing out daily on all of our many platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, Telegram. We're also, in addition to YouTube and Rumble. So you can find us there. Support us, folks. We need your help now more than ever. This is going to be a tough winter. So if you can find it within your hearts and within your piggy banks to give us a little help each week, subscribe and become a member for just $5 a month. You can support us that way. We prefer that. But see if you can. See if you can, folks. We definitely need it. We're going to roll out a lot more. We need your help to do that. So it's been a good year, but we want to take it up to another level in 2026. That's all we've got time for, folks. Again, all the best. We'll see you in the midweek as well as next Sunday. So all the best, guys. Take care.
For in the final analysis, we all inhabit this small planet, and we are all mortal.
Lately I've been watching the world gone mad. Brothers and sisters full to take a stand, to hate their fellow man, another man. Divide and conquer is the acronym plan. Distract the people, control the story. Don't believe your lying eyes, you know me. Stay in power no matter what. Playing with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your trust. Pushing us to turn to good. Corruption and lies. Truth is the crime, will turn to gold. Well-designed misery to keep you on edge, make you believe anything anyone says. Keep it left or right, not top to bottom. Accuse the victim, can't you see we got 'em? Stay in power no matter what. Playing with the doomsday clock. Turn a blind eye and gather your trust. Pushing us to turn to good. With captured rights, feudal time will turn to dust. Industrialized brutality, commercialized cruelty, people as commodity, cheer on war and atrocity, no accountability.